How can you not love a good joke character? A character who exists for the sake of a good laugh from either the player base or from the development team. I talked about a few joke characters before, so today we're going to continue from where we left off. There are a lot of bad Pokemon out there, whether that be due to bad stats, bad typing, or a bad move pool, but the original iconic bad Pokemon is Magikarp. Magikarp is one of the original 151 Pokemon that debuted in the first Pokemon games, Red and Blue versions. You can find this guy pretty easily by fishing in ponds and rivers, but probably the most memorable way people got their first Magikarp is by getting scammed by this con artist in the back of a Pokemon Center on Kanto's Route 4. For 500 Pokédollars, you can buy a Magikarp from this greasy salesman. There's another Magikarp salesman in the Generation 5 games on the Marvelous Bridge. Is this some sort of large-scale operation, or are there just a bunch of random guys selling 10-year-olds fish? I don't know, but Magikarps can't be found in the Unova region where the Generation 5 games take place, so at least it is a better deal since you get a rare Pokemon, relatively speaking. So, what makes Magikarp so bad, so terrible, so horrible, you might be asking? Well, you are probably aware that the main thing you do in Pokemon games is battle. Yeah, Magikarp can't do that. Once it gets to level 15, it does learn Tackle, but before that, the only move it knows is Splash. And you want to know what Splash does? Nothing. In later years, Game Freak had the heartfelt generosity to give Magikarp another real move that can do damage in Flail, but Magikarp doesn't learn that move until level 30. Coupled with its terrible move pool, Magikarp has some absolutely horrendous stats. Its base stat total is only 200. For comparison's sake, Pikachu has a base stat total of 430, and Pikachu's pre-evolved baby form, Pichu, has a base stat total of 205. The Pokedex entry for Magikarp in Pokemon Ruby reads, Magikarp is a pathetic excuse for a Pokemon that is only capable of flopping and splashing. This behavior prompted scientists to undertake research into it. Oof. But that isn't even the most disrespectful Pokedex entry. The Pokedex entry for Pokemon X says, it is virtually worthless in terms of both power and speed. It is the most weak and pathetic Pokemon in the world. Wow, I honestly feel kind of bad for Magikarp now. Luckily, the Pokedex entry in Pokemon Sapphire actually does give Magikarp a little bit of credit. Magikarp is virtually useless in battle as it can only splash around. As a result, it is considered to be weak. However, it is actually a very hardy Pokemon that can survive in any body of water no matter how polluted it is. So, you might be wondering, what is the point of even using Magikarp? Well, if you tough it out and manage to get Magikarp to level 20, it will evolve into the mighty Gyarados, a really cool and pretty powerful Pokemon with a strong base stat total of 540. Gyarados is the ultimate glow up. It's your reward for staying with your day ones and remembering where you came from. While Magikarp is a joke character, if you give it a chance, it can wind up turning into something really great, which I think is a really nice message. Let's go from cute and cuddly Pokemon to the dark and bloody zombies of Resident Evil 2. In Resident Evil 2, you can play as either a police officer, a college student, a paramilitary operative, or a piece of tofu. Tofu is the main character of the extra game mode in Resident Evil 2 called the Tofu Survivor. You have to beat the game 6 times with an A rank to unlock the Tofu Survivor minigame. In the remake, you have to beat the 4th Survivor game mode first, which is unlocked by beating the A scenario of either Leon or Claire and then beating the B scenario of the other character. This mode is basically the same as the 4th Survivor minigame where you have to escape Raccoon City by making it to a helicopter, but instead of playing as an actual person, you play as a block of soy milk. Whenever Tofu takes damage, he speaks in a really high-pitched Japanese voice. The only weapon Tofu has is a combat knife, although in the Resident Evil 2 remake there are actually multiple different versions of Tofu that you can play as, and they each have their own signature weapons, like Konjac, who's rocking a flamethrower, and Flan, who's packing a minigun and an anti-tank rocket launcher. Just the idea of playing as a piece of Tofu is so out of nowhere, even for a Resident Evil game, which is a franchise known for its over-the-top and silly post-game content. According to Jun Takeuchi, a designer at Capcom who has worked on a number of Resident Evil games, said in an interview with Electronic Gaming Monthly that Tofu was created to test Resident Evil 2's collision detection. Over the time Capcom spent developing the game, though, Takeuchi and the rest of the team grew attached to the character, so they kept him in and let other people enjoy playing as him. Aw, that's actually kinda wholesome. To spoil the ending of Tofu Survivor though, unfortunately Tofu doesn't exactly get a happy ending. In the original ending for the Tofu Survivor, Tofu gets eaten by Hunk, the protagonist of Fourth Survivor, in the escape helicopter. Speaking of eating, let's talk about the gluttonous pink puffball himself, Kirby. I wouldn't quite call Kirby a joke character, but he does have an ability that turns him into a joke character, and that ability is the Sleep Copy ability. Sleep Kirby debuted in Kirby's Adventure for the NES in 1993, making it one of the first 24 copy abilities introduced in the series. Kirby has a ton of really cool copy abilities that he can get from sucking up enemies, like breathing fire, or getting a cool sword, or falling asleep. And you just have to sit there until Kirby wakes up or until an enemy attacks you, causing you to lose the ability. This, my friends, is Sleep Kirby. In Kirby's Adventure, Sleep Kirby looks the exact same as regular Kirby, but starting with 1996's Kirby Superstar, Sleep Kirby gets a bit more drip with a green hat with yellow dots. In Nightmare in Dreamland, a 2003 remake of Kirby's Adventure, Sleep Kirby decided to change up the dots, going from yellow to white. In 2003's Kirby's Air Ride though, Sleep Kirby started rocking a purple hat and he brought back the yellow dots. Sleep Kirby went back to the Nightmare in Dreamland design for a few games before the Air Ride Sleep Kirby finally came back in 2011's Kirby's Return to Dreamland, and this design has consistently been the Sleep Kirby design since. It was really weird how they went back and forth before finally deciding on an official design with this game. Also, starting with Kirby's Return to Dreamland, Sleep actually got something you could do with it. By shaking the Wii Remote, you can wake up faster. Yeah, that's it. In a previous game, 2006's Kirby Squeak Squad, you can actually upgrade the Sleep Copy ability with an ability scroll to give Sleep Kirby the power to restore a little bit of health. So hey, it finally has a real use! In Forgotten Land, Kirby actually has some resistance to the Sleep Copy ability since he doesn't fall asleep immediately once he gets the power. You can control him for a while before he finally nods off, and he also gains some health when he falls asleep, like with the ability scroll upgrade in Squeak Squad. Kirby can even upgrade sleep into Deep Sleep. Deep Sleep Kirby has a much more extravagant hat, shaped like a moon on a cloud. Deep Sleep Kirby has much more control than regular Sleep Kirby because you can actually control him and he doesn't fall asleep until you decide to do so by hitting the attack button. When Kirby falls asleep in this form, he spawns an entire bed. Kirby's entire health bar is restored, and he gets a random small boost of either more life, more attack power, or more speed. Deep Sleep Kirby is really cool, but I wouldn't even call it the best version of Sleep Kirby. That honor goes to Sleep Kirby's appearance in 2017's Kirby Battle Royale. In this game, Sleep Kirby can actually fight by slapping people with pillows, blowing bubbles, which I hope are not snot, and putting other enemies to sleep. It's great that after so many years of being useless, Sleep Kirby is finally a pretty cool ability. In any case, those were just a handful of pretty cool joke characters that I wanted to talk about for the day, but no worries, there will be plenty of time to talk about more joke characters next time.